What's up guys, my name's Dychronic, your host here on this Destiny 2 video, and today we're going to be talking about some advanced leveling in Destiny 2. If you haven't already, make sure you check out my previous video about getting to 750 very quickly. It went over a lot of the basic information about power surge, power spiking, as well as a full list of all the powerful gear location that I could possibly think of. And if you think you know them all, there are 75 possible powerful engrams you can get per week outside of the unlimited ones. So go check that video out first and then come back to this video. That video will be linked in the description down below. But in this video, we're going to be talking about a lot of the advanced and expert tactics, about known slot drops, about getting every little nitty detail, about getting every possible power bonus, and thinking smart when doing all of your powerful drops. Now, as a bit of a disclaimer, as I mentioned before, this obviously is a method to solve the problem, to be able to figure out what is the best and fastest possible way to get all the way to 750 very, very quickly, and that will crunch through a lot of content very quickly. So obviously, do this at your own discretion, and for those of you that don't want to crunch through all the activities very quickly, just don't. You don't have to. But this video is there in case you wanted to. And of course, no Dychronic video would be complete without cute and fluffy animals near the beginning of the video. Man, honestly, I started this because I didn't like asking for likes. I just wanted to say, hey, here's cute fluffy animals, do the right thing. But lately, it has been some of the best parts of my day. Honestly, I'd recommend it to every single person out there. Just take 5 minutes or an hour, depending on who you are. Go to Google, type in cute fluffy animals, and just scroll. It'll make you smile. It'll make your life better. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with this advanced tips list with my known strongest powerful drops. In the previous video, I described very briefly that not all powerful drops are created equal, and the higher the difference between your power level and the activity is, or the more above it is, the higher the drop will be. So if you're a 500 in a 540 activity, you're gonna get like a drop from like 10 to 15. If you're 560 in that same activity, you'll get like 2 to 4. So the higher level that activity is compared to you, the higher the drop chance is, and I've made a little list about the highest possible activities right now. And that list includes prime engrams. They've always been super powerful. I don't know why, but they always do. Next up, the raid challenge bounties. Those always seem to be higher than the raid drops themselves. Next up, Crown of Sorrows, all the drops, literally the highest possible right now because it is the highest power activity right now. And then lastly, Menagerie at 720 also drops some pretty high drop. Next up, I wanted to mention a few tips about equalizing. First of all, most powerful drops will level up with you, so you don't have to claim them all right away. An exception to that rule is going to be prime engrams. They do not level up with you, so make sure you claim them immediately. If there's an exotic that dropped on the ground, it went to your postmaster, that's also another one you have to claim immediately. But oftentimes you want to save some bounties and challenge claims in the tower for when you need to equalize. For example, if you're waiting for your team to go do the new Crown of Sorrows raid and you're about equalized and you still want to do stuff while you're waiting, you can go do a bunch of like Dreaming City bounties or do some Gambit bounties or whatnot while you're waiting, and you can save those bounties in your pocket for when you actually need them. So go do your Crown of Sorrows. Once you finish that, then you can claim a bunch of them, equalize immediately, and that's honestly the best tactic. And as another note on that same thing, keep in mind your Infamy rank and your Valor rank when claiming bounties to time those powerful drops, because every major Valor and Infamy rank up will give you a guaranteed powerful drop. So if you have other types of bounties that will give you Infamy or Valor, you should claim those at specific moments that actually are important than when you actually want to equalize. And the last little tip I wanted to make on equalizing is that it's almost always better to get a known slot drop, for example an Ada frame, when few gear slots are low rather than a random drop. So let's say you have a kinetic weapon and a power weapon that are lower than everything else in your character. You're going to want to go over to Ada, pick up, for example, let's say a sword frame, complete that sword frame, and it's guaranteed to land in the slot that you want it, in that power slot, and that will raise it up, rather than getting a bunch of random bounties and then having them randomly drop and hope that they land on those 2 slots. So when there's a few options and they are in fact missing, always go for the known slot drops. Now there's actually a lot of different things that are known slot drops that I'm going to be going over in this video that are very crucial to getting that extra little power level increase. Next up is going to be a bunch of little miscellaneous tips to help you along the way. First up is going to be the Xur armor increase, where you use your highest level character to purchase high level armor for your low level characters. For example, my second character that I was working on, I finished my first, did all of the milestones possible, moved on to my second, did pretty much all the milestones by that point. I was around 730 light, and I was able to get a 710 warlock armor for my warlock, that third character that I hadn't started on. So it gives him a little little boost to start off with, and it's always nice to do, and this is always something that I do in the first DLC, because by the time the Zerg comes out, I'm usually on my second character. Next up, I wanted to mention the Drifter Roll Bounty for the helmet. It is always guaranteed to give you a powerful helmet drop for those roll bounties. For example, doing the Reckoning and the Gambit Prime for like Invader or Collector or Sentry. Every single one of those are guaranteed to give you a helmet. So if you are needing a helmet, you should go and do that bounty. So again, I recommend just finishing it, keeping an inventory until you need it. And if you notice that you're lacking on a helmet piece, you can claim it when you need it. That same kind of tactic works for the 8 of frames, like I mentioned before. For specific gun slots that you need, and for example, you also need armor pieces. Once you get that second gun, you also get a guaranteed armor drop from the vendor challenge. Next up, you can also use pinnacle weapons and exotic quest weapons at the right time when that gun slot is needed. So completing a bunch of those pinnacle weapons ahead of time and just holding on to them right when you need it, when you need to infuse a certain thing or you need to fill in a slot, those are often really nice to have. Next up, make sure you're playing competitive when you're going for those Crucible rewards, because you get both Valor and Glory at the same time for potentially double drops from both of the different rewards for the different rank ups. So you get both of them at the same time. You might as well do that, especially during the beginning of the season. Everybody's level 0 anyways. You can basically find anybody out there. Next up, you should keep in mind the current daily activity that offers a powerful reward. It will allow you to more efficiently use your time. For example, if a strike daily is tomorrow, then do 2 strikes today and leave the 3rd for tomorrow so you can stack up on an additional strike without doing an additional strike. Now, I know what you're thinking. What is the current daily and how do I know? I've got a website that tracks that all for you. It is called d2checklist.com. Make sure you're not going to the Destiny 1 version, but this basically tracks all of your powerful rewards. Not all of them. It tracks a part of them, and it will be able to tell you when the next reset for the dailies are. So just go over to the daily section, and underneath it, it'll say when it's going to reset, which is something very convenient, so you can keep track of what the next daily is, so you can complete that activity first, and then when the next daily comes around, then you can finish it off. And lastly, a couple tips on the Menagerie. First of all, upgrade your chalice to get more powerful rewards from Menagerie a week. It is some of the strongest powerful rewards, so get that upgrade as soon as you can. And secondly, use specific rune combinations to get exactly the gear piece you want. On screen now, you see a couple of charts from my previous video about literally every combination for the runes. You can literally specify which gear piece that you want, so you can literally get exactly the upgrade that you want, which is by far the best kind of thing you can do. It's literally the 8 of frames plus the Drifter roll bounties on steroids. You get to pick exactly what you want, especially when you're closer to 750 and you only have a couple slots that need 750. Everything else is 750 or 749. Picking exactly what you want for the Menagerie is really, really nice. Anyways, that is pretty much the video of all the advanced tactics. Again, a lot of these things are kind of weird and you may not want to do all of them, but I just wanted to list them all for you in case you see them. You might be able to take them in account as you go along. I don't expect everyone to do all of these. I don't do all of these, but this is everything that I do know about. But that's it. That's the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Consider subscribing if you want to see more craziness and Dychronicness in the future. But that's it. My name has been Dychronic, and I will see you guys on the next one.